Well, g'day once again. It's John Davis here from Darwin in the Northern Territory of Australia, as far north as you can go. And today a little project has come across my path. I have been using the TC Helicon Play Acoustic for, I'd say about 18 months. I had its big brother, and its big brother was actually too bulky and complex. The TC Helicon Play Acoustic is a great little rig for a solo guitarist. So let me show you what I've bought, and let me show you the tiny issue that I'm going to try and fix today. That's the Play Acoustic. That's a tap delay there. That's an octave pedal there. Let's pretend they don't exist today. Plug in your microphone, plug in your guitar. It will add a vocal harmony based on the root of what you're singing. What you're singing becomes the root, and it takes the guitar chord and turns that into the harmony, vocal harmony. Awesome. And somebody's decided they want to talk to me. In its simplest form, you plug your guitar, your microphone in, run a line out, into your PA, and off you go. You don't even need a mixer. In order to get the harmony to go, hit that button, harmony's on, hit that button again, the harmony's off. Easy. If you want to change harmonies, there's a couple of hundred presets. These will take you up and down through the presets. Not a problem. So far, so good. You can also expand this little guy. We've got a bit of an issue. It has a tap delay for the vocals, so you can set a tempo for your delay, delay, delay. But in order to do that, you've got to hit these two buttons at the same time with your foot and release them to go into that mode. Then you've got to tap your tempo, and then 5 seconds later it'll drop back out to where you were. Not so hard. It also has a looping function where you have to hit these two buttons at the same time to take you into a looping window, and then you've got your start and replay button, or your stop and erase button, and that's not too bad either, except when you need a harmony. And then what happens is you've got to come out of this window by hitting that button. It'll still keep looping in the background. Then you go back to this thing and hit your harmony when you need it and do your chorus or whatever you've got to do. But then to turn the loop off, you've got to go back over here with your foot, hit those two buttons again, and then press stop or stop and erase. And it can get pretty complex when you're on stage trying to actually do a song. So what you can do is you can plug a pedal, which I happen to have, into the back just here. It's an expansion pedal basically, and what that does is it takes those other functions and puts them in a separate patch. So all you've got to do is just go 1, 2, there's your tempo set. Start, loop, erase, and stop. That's all there is to it. Unfortunately, the pedal that I bought is a little bit too small. Yes, if you need to tap your tempo, all you do is you put your foot on the side and you tap your tempo. If you need to start and loop your thing over, that's fine too. But in order to stop it and erase it, what I found was that my boot is too big unless I just use the very tip of my toe to kick it. Meaning that I'm forever hitting the wrong buttons while I'm trying to... it just doesn't work. So today, my task is to rehouse this baby into this baby. And although it's substantially bulkier, there is a reason for that. There's method in my madness. So it's about the same width, but it's twice as deep. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the looping buttons, these two that are... Get you down for a second. I'm going to put these two buttons further apart on the lower bit down here, and I'm going to put the tempo button up there so that you can't accidentally hit them. And when you're on stage, you don't want to be looking down at your pedals. You want to be making eye contact with your audience. So this is a little box that I got in from China. It's all pre-cut. I've just got to drill it out, measure it up. Then comes the fun part. Hang on, put that away. I've already taken the bottom off this guy. Have a look at this. So these are momentary touch switches. There are 3 of them, and they've been wired in a certain order so that depending on which one you touch, it will connect into the back of here and tell it what to do. First thing I'm going to do is cover this guy in masking tape. Move that guy out of the way. Oh, little cameo appearance there from Cooper's Pale Ale. It is the drink of champions. First one, straight over the top. Second one, a little bit of overlap. Now, I'm not going to treat you like a fool and show you how to use a drill. What I've done is I've labelled each of the switches according to their function. Record, erase, tempo, R, E, and T. Now the tempo one's actually faulty. It's just the housing's come away from its base. So I'll glue that, get that all sorted. That'll be an overnight job to let the glue set and all that sort of stuff. And come back tomorrow and we'll move from that little housing into a much bigger and far more practical one where hopefully when I put my foot down, I'm not going to be kissing the other switch. Fingers well clear. That's all I've got to do for this guy. I'm just going to take the coating off, label it all up, repair the one of these that I discovered was broken, and that's just some glue. So it's a 24-hour job. That's this little guy here. You'll see the connection is just a bit loose as well, so I'll clamp that down and just glue it. That'll be fine. And what I'm going to do is label this up first. And I can never get these things straight, so what I've done is I've got the Dymo label, make a nice silver label and stuff, and record and playback will go on that one. The tap tempo label will go there, and the stop erase one will go there like that. I'll hold down the square so that it's straight, and then I can manipulate that around until it lines up, and eventually he says it'll be straight, and I'll push the bottom one out like that. Well, I don't know about you, but I think that is a fairly professional looking job. I'm actually going to cut, not those guys, each of the 5 wires connecting these switches and just put little extensions in the middle using some hookup wire. So first thing I'm going to do is cut up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say 2-inch extensions of hookup wire, and I'm going to tin the ends of them with solder, or the Americans call it solder, and then I'm just going to insert them in there, and there. Then the switches will be ready to mount. Then I'm going to cut the lead about here and pop a jack on it, drill that hole out, and we'll be ready to, that'll be the project finished, but there'll be some extra bits that we can do with the leftovers. So that's what I'm going to do. So temporarily I've drilled just a little hole there. I'm going to rehouse those guys in there and then feed the lead out through the hole. The problem is that eventually metal on rubber will wear through. So I've got to install a grommet in the hole, feed it through that. This will be a comedy. Okay. That was easier than I thought. And then what will happen is, once I've mounted switches in here, I'll put it through like that. Tie a knot there so that it can't pull through. Tie a knot there so it can't pull through. And that grommet will stop it from cutting through the shield. That's not what's going to happen right now. That's for later. We've got to work out how much we need to extend these guys, and you can always have a little bit extra, so plenty. 5 of these in total, about that size. But what I'm going to do is nip this little guy, pop one of these in the middle, then do the same for that little guy, that guy, and that guy. Okay. This is me. Oh, here goes nothing. Oh. Right, so that's just a braid that's had heat shrink put around it, and that's perfect. What I'm going to do is actually trim its heat shrink back. Oh, there you go. And that should allow me to tin that. And I'll do the same with this piece of heat shrink here. Just hold it steady. And give it a little tinning. Beautiful. You'll give me credit for the fact that you didn't need to watch every extension. What I've not yet done is move the heat shrink over the joins. So it's a little windy out here at the moment to melt that down. So what I'll do is I'll go inside where it's still. Just put them over a little bit of just a little tea light, just like that. That'll shrink down and make sure that we can't have any shorts. And then I'll be back. One or two things happened while pardon me, while we were off camera just doing all the little bits. My old stomp box had a broken. It wasn't broken. An animal, I think a wasp or something, had made a little nest inside the plug. So I pulled that out, put a new plug in, extended it while I had some hookup wire there, and good as new. Anyway, so these guys have all got the heat shrink now on all of the joins. I'll just check them all. Before we mount these, let's have a quick look at them. Washer, a nut, and it's got a nut on the inside as well. I think this guy's the most important. This guy determines how far out of the box you actually want the switch. To my way of thinking, you don't want it out a long way. So I'll do two things. Firstly, around about there will be the depth. Maybe a bit more. Just enough so that the next nut can bite completely and hold the switch in place. Maybe just a kiss more. There we go. Okay, because I've got the record one already undone, he gets to go first. I'm sort of happy with that, I guess. finger tight, and as you can see, it's not poking out too far, but the nut has fully taken the shaft. So finger tight first. I do want just a touch of thread above the nut, because I'm going to pop a drop of glue on that just so it can't shake loose. I'm also going to do the same on the inside. And here's this guy here. That's actually looking pretty good. It's just a little bit of thread over the top of each. So like I said, I'll drop a bit of glue there, bit of glue there, bit of glue there, just a dot, just so it can't work itself loose. I'll do the same on the inside. I'll neaten these guys up a little bit, and that won't be too hard to do, says me. And then we'll run this out through the back to that, and the project's finished. Oh, I've also drilled a hole in the back of the box and put a grommet there. Before I run the lead through that, I'm going to tie just a small knot in it, so that it can't pull itself out and compromise the joints on the inside. So no matter what happens now, no pressure will be put on these joints or on these solders. And what we don't want is for glue to get anywhere near the piston. So I might apply it with a stick. Just a dot of glue there. And you just apply a little bit to the thread and to the nut. It'll dry pretty clear anyway, but just having that little bit touching the threads means that nothing can shake loose. We've got the lead in the back. It's been secured with a little knot so it can't pull. I'll secure these with a cable tie, and we can basically tie this guy, we can basically mount this guy now in the case, and that part of it's finished. Crimped it down well, the solders look pretty good, and it won't pull. A dot. That'll stop it coming undone. Right, so the clear plastic heat shrink over the top of the thick bit down onto the spring. Then the solid dual wall black heat shrink, I might just give that a little kiss there, has shrunk down over the top of the clear plastic and over the spring and down onto the shielded cable, and that gives me a good, strong, straight plug. The cable tie doesn't need to be tight, it just needs to bunch everything up to stop it from flopping, so that's what I've done. Trim that down. Going to install the feet. I don't normally like rubber feet on things, but we'll see. I always take it off if I don't like it. Screws in. I don't want that. And Ta-da! So I'll do 3 more of those. So, kind of happy with the feet. My usual trick, bit of holding glue. Dot. And the same for this guy. Just a dot of holding glue. Whoops. Just a dot. So that little circle of glue there, is really just a seal. But it'll stop them shaking loose. And there you have it. Well, good morning once again. What was the point of my building this little box? Incidentally, that's where it goes in. Well, let me show you. I'll just move this little thing out of the way here. Excuse my thumbs. For a harmony, hit the button, light comes on, and you're seeing a harmony. For tempo, you hold down 2 pedals, then you tap 1, 2, and your tempo is set. Then you've got to wait 5 seconds, and then it goes back. And that's your tempo for your delay. If you want to use the looper, so you can, these are for going up and down your different harmonies. If you want to use the looper, you've got to hit 2 buttons together, then start recording, then start playing. And if it's playing behind you and you need a harmony, then you've got to come back over here, turn that off, come to this screen, and then hit the harmony again while you're singing. And then if you need to turn the loop off, you hit those 2 buttons again to get back to that window and turn it off. That to me is a little bit cumbersome. So I'll just press erase, hold that down for a couple of seconds, and it goes to erase. It works, but it's cumbersome. Let's go back to that window. If you put the extension pedal in, instead of holding down those 2 buttons, then tapping your tempo, all you do is just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Your tempo's set. So 2 taps. So 1, 2, 3. There's your tempo, done. And that'll just turn itself off in a second. To record, 1 button. We're on. We're recording. And for the loop to play back, tap it again, and it's done. And then when it's time for you to stop, stop. Now, you've got the choice of either replaying it or hold it down and that'll erase it. Which is done. Once you've finished a project, there's only one thing to do. Cheers.